Hi guys, in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about just how approachable and how easy it is to meet Filipinos, to go out on dates or find a girlfriend or a relationship, and why it's probably the best country maybe in the world for this. Stick around and we'll talk about it. Alright guys, so going on over 7 years now. Now of course I haven't been single in 2 years, so I'm out of the dating game, and gladly so, to be honest. Though the first 5 years I've had a lot of dating. I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of dating, and it's not that I was trying to be some serial dater. I always tell people, even when you come out here, and even no matter how easy it is to meet girls and get a date, I would always tell people, you'll never be alone on a Friday night, but it's very easy to meet somebody, but you may not be able to meet the right one. It may take a while, and it has, even for me. And the girls here are very approachable, very easy to talk to. I can count on one hand the times that I've actually been shot down. In fact, actually only one time really shot down, almost like it reminded me, I'm like, whoa, where am I, back in America? And in this entire time I've lived here, one time only was I ever really shot down to the point where I was like, oof, wow. It took me back to a time where I was not so happy, back in the US. And I'll tell you that story in just a second. But approaching women, it could just be girls who are working, easy to talk to, and almost always, in fact, it can actually be a problem sometimes, because girls will sometimes give you their phone number and their Facebook too easily, and they do it sometimes because they just don't want embarrassment, they don't want to create a scene. It's kind of that saving face culture thing in Asia. And so they might just fork over their phone number or their Facebook, and guess what? They just go home and they just either put you in the ignore or they block you maybe, but yeah, they don't want to cause embarrassment. So I can't tell you how many times I'm like, whoa, wow, I got this beautiful girl's phone number or Facebook, and you're excited to get home and message her, and you hear nothing back. Well, it's maybe because she wasn't really interested, but they don't want to cause embarrassment. Now, if you are in the West, they have no problem shooting you down, embarrassing you in front of your friends or in front of their friends. In fact, it's probably funny to them, right? To embarrass you, to make you as uncomfortable and nervous as possible. I think for a lot of guys, they still carry that over with them when they get out to the Philippines. So when they get to the Philippines, they still are thinking, oh man, she's going to shoot me down and it's going to be embarrassing. But you got to kind of forget that. And you really just have to approach girls in a respectful manner. And personally, I don't want to give out dating advice. I'm not a dating guru or an expert. I'm just going off my experience. But in my experience, it's always better not to put too much pressure on them up front. Don't ask them out on a date on the spot. Some girl you just literally met 5 minutes ago and you don't know. I think it's always better just to approach them casually and say, oh, I'm new in town. I would love to get to know you. Maybe we could be friends on Facebook. Don't put too much pressure on them and ask them out directly on the spot. And yes, some guys say, oh yeah, I just walk up to somebody right at the mall. I'm not myself a big fan of that. I've known guys who have done that and it's worked. But for most guys, and for myself, girls who are working are usually the easiest to meet because they are there doing their job, and so it's easier to talk to them. You could be pretending like you're looking for a shirt at the department store, and then you can easily strike up a conversation and say, hey, your boyfriend's really lucky. You're such a beautiful girl. Oh, I don't have a boyfriend. bingo, hey, I would love to be able to get to know you. Can I add you on Facebook? Something like that. Again, I'm not giving you dating advice. I'm just telling you what, in experience, what has worked for me. Other people, things work differently and they've had success with it. So just, you go with what you know. You don't ever really have to be worried about being shot down or embarrassed. That just does not happen here. I mean, you can go to a table of Filipinas at a restaurant and say, hey, I'm new here. I was wondering, what are some good things to see and do here in Cebu? And strike up a conversation, and then maybe your way of saying thank you is, hey, can I get you guys a pizza? Can I get you guys a coffee or something? After this, you guys want to go grab a coffee? I really appreciate the information you gave me. Or, I mean, it's just simple things. And so maybe two of the girls say, we got to go back to work, and the other two say, oh, well, we could join you. You just never know. You just never know. But you're not going to be embarrassed, so you just go for it. Now, to the one time I was embarrassed. Okay, so I used to shop at this grocery store. I think it was the SM grocery store in Cebu, and I used to see this really attractive Filipina that was working at behind the deli, like the bakery breads and stuff. So, and it was one time that I stopped to get some croissants or something, and I saw her and just gave me this beautiful big smile. And this is, I'll get to this in a second here, but I took it as, wow, I think she might have some interest in me, because she gave me such a big, beautiful smile. And so probably about 3 visits, I introduced myself. I think the second time, I don't even remember the girl's name, it was long ago, 5-6 years ago. And I introduced myself, I got her name, and I think I asked her, and this was when I think I was like 47, so I wasn't like an old guy. I wasn't even in my 50s yet, but I came back, I think maybe like the 4th time, and I said, you know what, this time I'm going to do it. And I said, so I think I wrote down my Facebook and my phone number, and I handed it to her because there was no customers. I was kind of timing it, and I said, hey, I would love to get to know you. Maybe we could, just get to know each other. I revert back to what I said earlier. I never really ever asked girls out on the spot. I didn't like to do that. I preferred to just chat with them a little bit, make them comfortable, and then ask them out. And she was like, oh yeah, sure. And so anyway, she added me on Facebook. We started chatting like that night after she got off work, and I said something like, how old are you? And I think she said something like 24. It was kind of early, mid-20s. And she asked me how old I am, and she didn't say anything. And then I think maybe it was the next day or something, I said, what's your schedule like? Oh, I think I'm off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I said something about, going out on a date. And she goes, she responds, she goes back into the comment where she had asked me my age, and I said 47, and she replied to that and said, you're older than my father. And said, I can't go out with you, you're older than my father. And it was quite embarrassing, because most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, Filipinas usually respond like, oh, age is just a number. I mean, you can be 80 years old and she could be 20, and Filipinas will say something like, oh, age is just a number, it doesn't mean anything. So, and I've heard, that was just embedded into my brain at this point. I had been in the Philippines a year or two, and I've heard that so many times. So when she said, you're older than my father, I can't go on a date with you, I was like taken back, and I was a little bit, I was disappointed, because I was attracted to her, and she just seemed very friendly, had a great smile. I didn't want to let it embarrass me. I was like, okay, I understand. And I just kind of let it go, and, once in a while I did see her, I would just wave at her, but that was it. But that's the only time that I was really just kind of struck down. Most of the time, I've never really been turned down, and I'm not saying I'm some handsome stud. Far be it from the truth, I'm not. I'm just an average Joe, and it's just this. Most of the time, they're receptive, and they don't. Of course, they want to be attracted to a guy too, but for the most part, they don't care if you've got a beer belly or you're older or not the most handsome guy in the world. They really don't seem to really care. A lot of people will tell you, you come here, you look like this person here. This is the reality. This is what you look like. But you come to the Philippines, all of a sudden you feel like you're Brad Pitt walking around with your beer belly and your wrinkles and what have you. So, is it easy to meet girls? Yes. Are they approachable? Very approachable. You won't ever be shot down. Even the case and example of the one that really shot me down over the internet, over Messenger, even though it wasn't in person. In person, she's still very friendly, added me on Facebook, all of that. That's a great thing. It's a breath of fresh air. So if you get out here and you've been beaten down in the West and you're a bit shy, or you don't want to be shot down or embarrassed in public, well, forget about all that. It doesn't really exist here. You can just go up to a girl or a table of girls, introduce yourself or say hello. You're not going to be embarrassed. You're not going to be shot down. Now, maybe later on, once you're chatting to them, they may say, yeah, maybe, you're not, maybe they don't show any interest, or they just don't chat with you, or they just kind of ignore you. Well, then you'll get the hint, but you won't be embarrassed in public. And most of the time, if you want more success, get them to add, you take out your phone, pull up your Facebook, and have them put their name into your Facebook, and then you can say, oh, is this you? Okay, send a friend request, send a message, hi. And then you got the right Facebook. If you give them your Facebook, your phone number, a couple of things. One, they're not interested, so they're not going to add you. And two, they may be really traditional and they don't really want to make the first move. They're kind of shy to do that. They don't want to add you and send you the first message. A lot of them, I hear about guys, I met the most beautiful girl, I gave her my Facebook, never heard back from her. I guess she wasn't interested. And I tell them, well, a lot of times they might really actually be interested, but they are very traditional, they're very shy, and they don't want to make that first move. So just a tip for you guys, get them to put in their information into your Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever that you want to use. So anyway, guys, let me know your comments. Let me know what you think, your thoughts and opinions on the matter. Comment down below. That's a great thing about the Philippines here. When I lived in Vietnam for 6 months, try approaching a Vietnamese girl. They were also pretty much very friendly, but chances are they didn't speak English, or they were looking for an English lesson. Now, Thailand, I couldn't speak too much on because I was just there for a month, and Maya and I went back a second time as a couple, so not a lot of dating experience there. Anyway, guys, if you want more information, check out my accompanying website, geointhephilippines.com, where you can book a consultation. Check out my Geo Travel Essentials, get a lot more information about the Philippines, free PDF on moving or traveling out to the Philippines. It's all right there on my website. Check it out today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Take it real soon.